Hi, I'm coming out of the studio I was in. I'm in this studio. This showed that my microphone was working. Let's see if I can get my microphone out. Okay, it shows. Okay, let's see what we can do. It shows my microphone's kind of working. So I'm going to try and see if this works. If you were watching me on the other thing, you should have been seeing me on YouTube. So say something. Okay. And until I can get tech support here, I can't do too much about it. So I'm here and I'm live and I can sort of see chat. I don't know if anybody's still out there. I don't blame them if they were, if they left. It says two people around this, so. Mhm. Uh, ah, oh, you can hear me. Good. We had about 7 people going, we can't hear you. And the microphone was lit up and everything was working. I went and unplugged and replugged everything. So then I decided to take a wild grab at it and coming in through YouTube, which I've never done before. So I'm here, and this is kind of how today's run. I mean, this has been my day to day, kind of. I I have sort of a nice show planned, and if it's good, they can hear me now. I really felt like a bad cell phone ad. Um, okay. And in moving everything around to try and get heard, I lost everything I'd written. But as you know, I'm into trying to do 20 days, 21 days of the garden, and I would be very upset because I spent a lot of time and energy this morning. And thank you, T. Jones. Woo! Um, oddly enough, oh God, my hair looks terrible. That's me running around trying to fix things. I can't do two cameras when I'm on YouTube. So I won't be able to have the thing on the board all the time. But when I'm referring to uh, where the crystals are. I did a crystal roll for today, and nowhere did it say that none of the wiring was going to work. But what it did say was that my mind was in fire, and it was in which is south. If you're looking directionally, that's the south, and that's actually the space that my guides took me into today. That I'm going to do a deeper dive into. But it also shows that my thoughts, my body, and my values are in the future, are heading towards the future. The future has clarity, but that I'd be able to, my spirit would be able to bring this off. That's one thing that kind of held me together in working with all this. So that's kind of what the board said today. What we're going to, and I realize this is all backwards because I don't know how to go in and change that. So I'm sorry. But this is fire. And in the center of the board is air, earth, fire, and water. And they're the four elements. And I used shamanistic sort of definitions for those when I was first setting this up. And what I got this morning was, how was I feeling? I was feeling calm, and I'll explain like that's not how I should be feeling. And then I got, you're going to define the South, and the South in this is like the South Node in astrology. And if you know anything about nodes, know anything about astrology, you'll hear about the North and South nodes, which is where we can have eclipses. And um, it's your past, it's your karma, it's the karma energy that you bring into this life. That's what happens in this. It can be energy that's from, sometimes when I lay this out, I'll see someone's family because of where they've been rooted. They're having a lot of problems letting go of preconceived conditions. Other times it will be something from a past life that's kind of showing up now and saying, deal with it. But the fire that's in the South also has kind of that root chakra energy. It's the power, it's the beginning. It has the flames to purify, and it has the flames to destroy. And so, in looking at it, and I've seen all those elements when I've been looking at the South chakra, um, at the South, and feeling it was like a root chakra sort of feeling. It's where energy comes from, it's where our motivations come from. And I'm, I think that that's really going to, that's really fits well with what I've seen when I've been reading things that roll into the South. So and I'd already done all that work, and that's when I tossed the stones, and my mind ended up being in the fire, in the South, in that kind of energy. Um, and so that seemed to me very, very good. Now I'm going to look the camera back up on me, because now we're going to talk about me stuff. As you know, every day during this 21 days, I'm pulling from this book, which is all backwards now, but it's Oracle Healing by Crystals. And it's got a beautiful piece of amethyst, which is also spelled backwards. This is so screwy. Man, I hate this when this thing mirrors like this. Amethyst is various shades of translucent purple, and if you know anything about it, you know that that's exactly the color of our third eye. It's where we work from for our third eye. And um, it's a wonderful crystal. It transforms, it heals addictions. As a matter of fact, the Romans believed that if they wore amethyst, that they couldn't get drunk. They were wrong. I've had amethyst on when I've come home less than entirely sober. But it's a powerful all over healing crystal, assisting at all levels, overcoming addictions, bringing awareness, and healing and dissolving old patterns. And I thought that was very interesting, since we pulled fire as the thing to talk about. And one of the things that going through the fire in the elements is also getting rid of old patterns. Opens up your psychic abilities, assists wonderfully in dream recall, and aids in anxiety and stress relief. So, but if you're looking for an amethyst, this is one my daughter got for me in New York. It's just a gorgeous chunk of amethyst. And she was in the store 4 or 5 years ago in New York. She has a friend who lives in Brooklyn, and she was in a store, and she saw um, this stone, and she started talking to the guy at the store, and she said, "Oh, my mom would love that." And he said, "Well, your mom collects rocks." And she said, "Well, she does kind of, but at this point I was just a reader. I wasn't really working with crystals." And he handed it to her, and he said, $20. Now, this is worth a lot more than $20. And so thank you to that kind man, because my daughter got to bring me back a lovely gift. And it is, when I talk about amethyst, it is, because it goes from the very dark to the very light amethyst. There's quartz, it's called purple quartz or lilac quartz, and it's where milky quartz gets mixed with amethyst. And in Lilac Lavender's grid, I used a lot of that because it was lilac, right? Now, we've talked about the garden, we've talked about the amethyst. Does anybody have any questions they want read today, or want to know about something, or other than the fact that I'm just not as good with my computer as I should be? Let's see. I should have known something was wrong, because my mouse broke this morning too. So I'm having to get a new mouse for my computer. I have a little one, but it doesn't always work as well. Come on, guys. Nobody left me comments on the comment page. Did you? No, I didn't, Sin. So you're going to have to type it in again, because I did not get it off the community page. I'm warning people, YouTube's playing games, and things are appearing and disappearing off the community page. So the more you can help us. Oh, yeah, those crystal cards are really wonderful, and they're a great way to learn crystals. They're a great way. They've got so much information in them, including the divas, which are the little goddesses that live in crystals and make them work. So, I know I'm not talking to myself, but I gotta be. Oh, good. Somebody else got their gardens. We had a little problem with the garden mailing. I actually went through and found 5 of them that the Postal Service can't tell me where the hell they are. And so those were all remailed today. And then I'm looking at what other delivery service I can use. I want to support the U.S. Post Office, but I don't want to have people be very disappointed in not getting their grids. Did my dog? Oh, does your dog want you to rescue? The situation around your dog. Yeah, if it's one that's coming towards you, you've always had animals around you. You've got your spirit loves the animals, your mind loves the animals. They're in the South, they're in what you do. You got clarity and go for it. If you watched yesterday's show, I talked about what go for it means. Go for it is like you're standing on a green, a golf green. You can't even see where the flag is, but you hit a hole in one. So when you get go for it, it means go for it. Really go for it. Um, Okay, Cindy, do you know how to do the numerology? Sin McN, because as you change, you can change your name. I actually had a client once who changed his whole name. Well, he made subtle changes in the letters of his name, so he got everything covered, and he claims that's when his whole business took off. Last night, reinstate and reiterate. Reinstate is to bring something back where it was. Reiterate means to repeat something that's gone on before. So if you're sitting in a world where you're seeing those 2 words, it means I would consider what in my energy right now, because so much is changing so rapidly. What do I need to reinstate in my life that I might have let go that I should have kept in? And then reiterate means once you get into the flow and the energy, keep feeling that energy over and over again. And Cynthia, I don't think I finished answering your question about changing your name. Do you know how to do numerology for your name? You need to tell me that. If you don't, there's ways you can check your numerology. There's actually I've got an app for everything, right? Um, there's this app, and it's backwards to you, but it says numerology, and that's all you have to type into whatever store you go to. You can put in your names, and it will give you the numbers and the alternative to those numbers, and then it will also explain to you the power of each of those numbers. So by using my maiden name as my middle name, I ended up having a soul urge of 22, which is 22. Person strives to do something of importance for the whole of humanity. They're attracted to bigger projects. It gives them driving energy that they crave to make the world a better place. And it goes on and on. It says lovely things about me, so I like it. But it did change. My Nancy Jean is my birth name. My mother was Nancy Jean Lloyd. Nancy Jean Riddle. I was named after my mother's favorite doll. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can stop this. And I have my angel numbers app. I keep telling you guys I have apps for all this stuff. You want to know what 555 was? Huge changes are rumbling through your entire life on the highest possible course. Be sure to keep your thoughts positive, centered, and in prayer and affirmations. That's your 555. The 1111 is okay. My numbering system doesn't go beyond 600, so you're screwed. I can't help you. I can tell you what 11 means. I know 11 is a master number.
Learn Spanish with Real Spanish TV.
I don't want to learn Spanish
Click
with
on
real
words in the
Spanish.
subtitle.
Okay. I'm cheap. I don't buy my ads. I watch ads to get to them. Okay, that's it. Um, 11, stay positive. Your thoughts are materializing rapidly. This goes with the 555. So you want to ensure positive outcomes by focusing only on the good things. So don't go back and say, but it never happens to me. You're the opposite of me. My life path is a 3, and parts of my name are a 5. My daughter's life path is a 5, and that means you're going to have constant change. Okay. Okay, I see that. If you can go and figure out and look at the numbers and decide which set of numbers you feel better about, and which one you'd rather work with. The name of the app is Numerology. Cleverly named Numerology. That's all it's called, is Numerology. And let's see, did I miss anybody else's question? Well, okay, the thing about names is supposedly when we're on the other side and we're writing out our soul contracts, we decide what our name's going to be. And I have a friend whose mother and father were fighting over her name, and she got the name her father ran down the hall and had put on her birth certificate because her mother was, after giving birth, in no condition to run. And she went back and looked later and is, oh, you have an 11th birthday? Then you have a master number immediately in your name, Kim C. So anyway, you can go change your name. And when you get married, if you do go by that name, then theoretically the numerology changes. I have some books on numerology, and they're about this thick. And I really ever only use the first 20 pages of the first book because the rest of it gets into all kinds of stuff that I don't do. And but numerology can be very, very deep. I like Ann Perry on YouTube as just a numerologist. I just find her the most accessible. I think the way she reads is the most like I would like to read. So, and let's see. But and you have a lot of aspects to Libra. Libra is not big on my chart. I'm very watery and fixed. But one of my best friends is a Libra, and she's the honest arbiter of all things. Prince Charming, if you've got an 11 birthday, then you have a master number in your birthday, and that's why I think you should go back and look at Ann Perry's Look at Your Whole Birthday. She tells you how to take all the pieces apart and look at what you've got, and tells you how to add the month and the day to get one vibration. And okay, let's see about you and COVID. I'm going to tell you right now, my daughter had to go down to the COVID center clinic to get tested because she keeps thinking she's better and then she ends up worse. Okay. Wait a minute. I think I just got a message about what her health status is. She's negative for the Delta variant. So she's just got a really horrible summer cold. Yay, good news. Okay, so about you and going back out in the world, maybe this is a lesson to you, because I thought I had a really bad cold 2 weeks ago, and then I thought she got my cold, but then when we read the new Delta variant things, it ends up that she had 9 of the 10 symptoms, and she had all the symptoms I'd had. So everybody's saying, yay for you, Casey. Yay. She's going, yay. Okay, we're going to look at someone going back, ACL, English second language, going back to teaching that. And you've got in the present. Well, to some, the fact you're going out with such good intentions are saving you. I'll let you see what we got here. We got your values are in the present. Clarity's coming towards you. So it's going to get clearer to you exactly what to do, because Earth is things that are approaching us. And clarity there means you have the clarity you need. Follow the safest path for yourself. And your spirit is in water, which is what's your transmutation's complete. Your body, I think if you've been vaccinated, you're really fine. But your mind is focused on the security, and um, creativity is the key to security. I think you're okay to go back. Seasons. Oh, okay. Somebody wants to know about how seasons are oriented, and I think it's a name. It's a name that is getting a grid. I mean, she's getting a garden. If I'm looking at it like every day when I spread it out, like today water's towards me, yesterday fire was. It's because it's a complete square, so it doesn't matter. Whatever I lay out, the season that's closest to me right now is summer. It's winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter's ahead of you, spring's to the right hand, uh, summer's at the bottom, immediately facing you, and fall is to the left. And I tried and asked a whole lot of seasonal questions, and that's how it worked out for me. So that's how seasons are oriented in this garden. And actually, I'm working on making it like a clock or a month. So you can start up here with December, January, February, come around to, December be here, January be here. It's because as a tarot reader since the age of 12, let me tell you, one of the most difficult things is time in tarot, especially because I always warn people, this is how, if everything stays just as it is right now, this is how things are going to come towards you. But then people get in the way. Their free will gets in there, it messes it all up. Okay. Well, the situation about Agatha C's contract. It's going to come through this. The thing about it's going to come through this fall. Right now, you sense strongly that it's coming towards you, but you're answering a lot of questions about it, and that's what's made you feel like hesitant about this. What you're hearing, you got amethysts and false. You got your spirit and false, and I'm trying to figure out what it means. Oh, this situation came up earlier in the year, and your spirit wasn't aligned with the situation. You weren't sure exactly which way you wanted to go, but you have your body and your clarity are in Tree of Life and Crown, which are great places. Those are the culmination of the chakras, and your body being seek harmony. It physically, somehow or another, the new job fits you better physically. And clarity is all will become clear, but what's moving towards you and actually moving in your thoughts is your value system. So you have the value in air, which that's a really good, that's thoughts, and it says mental actions will take you on a path to abundance. So it says something happened last winter makes you a little insecure about this. Right now, your mind's understanding what's coming towards you. As you can see, this is the fall, where the stones. It's right at the edge of fall and fall. So I think it's late summer, early fall. Your contract will be extended. But I hope you did clarify whatever was bothering you in the winter. Oh, thank you it's Anne Perry. She's a numerologist. She's from Canada, and land of my parents for a long time. And then they came down here and had all this down here after World War II. Does anybody else have a question? And like I said, when I don't look at the garden when I open it out, I just throw it down. And today I looked, I said, oh, water's at the bottom. So, and I'm trying to see if when I watch that, if there's a pattern to which one of the four elements comes closest to me. Okay, how did I pick the stones for the garden? I wanted stones that were pretty clear about what their value was. I always knew amethyst was going to be spirit. There was no question about that. Orange or yellow calcite. First of all, they got to be tough enough to be able to toss. Okay, so I mean, there's some other really pretty stones, but they fractured to hell and back. Um, Orange calcite's bright. It reminds me of when you are in your solar plexus and you're thinking and you're creating and you're moving forward. Sodalite, actually, if you look it up, it's a very important stone for clarifying energy that's moving through you. Fusite is the stone of the body, and when you get a garden, she says with great confidence that I have the paperwork over here. I think I wrote on it when I was telling you guys I was coming back. Okay. You can tell how carefully I file things. This is it. Okay. The body is fusite. It's a stone known for connection to plants, growth, attached to all the elements, the fairy wisdom. It's a very grounded stone. Knowing what's best for your body and well-being is part of its legend. The mind, the orange calcite, gently opens our senses to radiant guidance, surrounding your thoughts with a golden glow and loving bubbles. I always think I see thoughts as bubbling up. They will help you bring out the essence of the sacral and solar plexus chakras, self-confidence, creativity, and hope. Amethyst, spirit. Magic to transform and transmute the vibration is the vibration of this stone. It is a stone for transcendence by heightening your connection to all things and sending you energetic projection. Pyrite, the ultimate grounding stone. It's also the heaviest sort of common stone you can get. That's why they can pan for gold, because it's so heavy. Pyrite, the stone that's supercharged for creativity and manifestation. Its energy will burn away self-doubts and boost self-esteem. It's sometimes called fool's gold for tricking countless researchers, but its energy brings abundance, whether it's the real gold or the fool's gold. And then sodalite, this one. This crystal ties directly to our cosmic wisdom and harmonizing our paths. You will feel that clear path, but you will feel the clear path, but you will also understand there's more than one way to move. That's really important in going into the fourth and fifth dimensions. There's more than one way to move. There's not just a yes or a no. This stone will help you indicate your clearest energetic path. Okay. Oh, what's going on with the full moon? It's a shift direction. If you go and you watch the show I did last night with Dorothy Morgan, I will summarize it really quickly. What Dorothy said was this full moon lands exactly at the degree where Jupiter and Saturn conjoined at the end of 2019 to take us into the age of air. They had met for the last 200 years, except on one occasion. I'm going to put my face up here because I don't like looking at my hands either. And one occasion in 1980, they met in Libra, an air sign, and then they went back into earth signs. 200 years ago, when they first went into earth signs, was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. If you look at the universal overriding planetary effects of Jupiter and Saturn being conjoined that way and meeting in earth signs, earth signs are things that materialize things, make things. Taurus is where things get kind of invented and made. Then they go to Virgo, and Virgo jujus them up and makes them all fancy and makes them look better. And then the last earth sign is Capricorn, and Capricorn is where they get upmarketed and become much more valuable than they were. Earth signs always bring greater value to something, but in this case, it was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. People didn't live in agriculture anymore; they lived in what they could make with their hands. So what happened on that night in December was when I actually walked out of my house, went and saw up in the sky where they were supposed to be, looked like two planets kind of close together. I mean, Jupiter's pretty bright, Saturn isn't. But it was a very, very important date. I had been told when I was like 18 or 19, I took a free university course at my school on astrology. And the man who was teaching the course was older, and he said, people in this room will live to see this day. I won't. And he explained that way back when I was 19, and I never forgot it. And I went out on that night on the 20th or 21st, depending on where you were in December, to see the conjunction and understand that something big had just moved, but a big thing has just moved, but it takes time for us to feel it. Why am I talking about what happened that December? Because Jupiter and Saturn aren't there, but the full moon will be exactly on that point on the astrologic chart on Friday. That's where the full moon is. And full moon means something's becoming completely illuminated. The other reason that particular degree is important has nothing to do with y'all, but has everything to do with me. That's where my Jupiter is on my natal chart. So since those two went over that, I grew my channel. I grew to over having 2,000 people watch me. I grew to having, I didn't have the garden designed. I didn't have the egg. I didn't have any of the other stuff that I'm just filtering through to the world. None of that was going on. That was my passage day for the abundance that Jupiter had sent me into this world with, for it to come forward. On the full moon, you can put your stones out in the full moon if you have a safe place to put them, and you make sure they're going to be there when you get back. If I Palo Santo mine, I can spray them with blessed water. You can't buy, well, you can't buy holy water. You can buy the container the holy water comes in. That's sort of their dodge, but you can get holy water. Sage will work. Palo Santo will work. If you can't tolerate smoke, I can't do sage anymore. I did way too much. I can do Palo Santo. You can do other incenses that you might like. You can also just clap your hand sharply over a stone, and that sharp sound will release things. But that's how you can recharge. And how often? Whenever you think about doing it. I mean, I go long times when I don't recharge my crystals. Of course, I like to burn frankincense. It's a very, very good smelling fragrance to me. I'll burn that in my office. Sage extract sprays that are essential oils that are sprays are good too, because then you don't have to deal with the smoke. Smoke's my problem. I had double pneumonia, and it was only in the last couple of years that I've gotten to where I can breathe all the time without help at times, which has something to do with my aging backwards, but that's a whole nother story. But if I have a friend who he used to burn the little incense sticks, and he's gotten to the point he's so sensitive now he can't burn those. So what are we doing? We're doing okay for time. We got about another half hour. Oh, what's coming up this week? I don't know what I'll be in the garden tomorrow, which part of the garden we'll be in, because they don't tell me till I wake up in the morning. And so every day is a surprise. Yes, stones are included in the garden, these stones. And if you happen to have a little crystal that fits, that you can roll on this without it tumbling off and breaking your toe, feel free to add your own stones. Just decide. You can kind of tell. Each space has a meaning, and you can kind of follow how those meanings come. But like the first set of sort of keyword meanings I sent out, you get that with your thing also. You get an explanation of the vision that created the garden and what all the stones mean and what all of the different directional things mean. And like I said, now every day I write in my book, because eventually I'm going to post a PDF at my website, which you can look at now. You can, when you get your tube, there's a QR code you can scan. It will take you to my website. Yes, I've known crystals that can get cloudy from use, but I'll show you what happens more often. When I got this crystal at first, it was completely clear almost. It had a few little fractures. Every time we've gone through a time change in the last 2 years, when I pick it up, I see more and more planes and fractures. And now it has, you can't see it because my cameras are crappy, but it's got rainbows in it. And it's something I picked up at actually an estate sale. I had a guy who got a whole bunch of crystals that he had to sell. So I went in and helped him price it. And he gave me a giant box of rocks, and some of which you see behind me. And he, he said, "Here, take this for doing this." And trust me, I got a whole lot of really good rocks. If you have rose quartz, green quartz, blue quartz, red jasper, amethyst, orange calcite. Okay, Tammy, you might have a slight case of what we call crystal chaos. If you ever have problems sleeping at night, keep the clear, the blues and the greens in there because they're more settling. But the red and the orange are energizing stones. So you're putting stones next to your bed, and half of them are saying go to sleep, and half of them are saying, hey, wake up. So you might want to think about that. I had a woman who, when I first talked about crystal chaos in one of my first shows in December, she wrote me and she said, I couldn't believe it, but she and her husband had collected crystals for a long time. So they just decided we'll move them in and make a nice display in our bedroom. And she said they had stopped sleeping comfortably. So she went in and she told her husband, we're taking the rocks out, we're taking the crystals out of our bedroom. And he goes, you're nuts. And she said, no, we're just going to try it for a week and see what happens. And that's why she wrote me. She said for the first time in a long time, they'd slept peacefully. But like I'm saying, rose quartz, green is soothing, and blue can be soothing. But the red jasper and the orange calcite, amethyst can be okay too. But the red quartzite and the orange calcite, their energy. What did I tell you? This is an energetic stone for your mind. So, and I rate stones a lot by chakra colors too. You will find that out. Well, if they're helping you, then keep them where they are. I I will tell you though, if you have a nice piece of amethyst like this, or a lovely chunk of rosy quartz, don't put those in sunlight. Sunlight will fade them, and they, so, and but okay, going back to what you can put on, you can roll your own stones. I've had people write me since the few people who have had it since the very beginning, saying, I'd like to have something that signifies the month of my birth. I'd like to have, they want other stones. And I'm working on that because I'm trying to find um, how to integrate other stones in. And when I first came up with the idea of the garden, Alma, my artist, created a garden, and it was actually in black and white. And then the making this the fluorite colors was her second. This, we've had 3 iterations of the scarf. Um, but I was throwing stones on it because, I mean, so my guides tell me stones work on this. And I tried a lot of different stones, and that's how I came up with the 5 I chose ultimately. The stones that are in the corners, which you don't toss, celestite, serpentine, agate. And this is a very, agate you normally see is all polished up and pretty. That's what agate looks like when it's not tumbled. And um, this is a white quartz. Um, and they all signify, the quartz is earth, the agate is air, the serpentine is fire, and the angelite is the wind. And they're not big stones, they're not magnificently beautiful stones, but stones are stones. And if you, I swear, if you go out in your alley and pick up a stone and pick up the quality of the earth that's in it, you can work with that. Okay. Yeah, pick the more falling asleep, and you can actually Google stones that will put me to sleep, and they will. There's a lot of, I like crystal vaults. They have a lot of really good literature about this. I refer to them a lot. I have a lot of books on crystals, but if I just want to quick check something, then I do that. Like I've shown you, I have that app on my phone called Crystal Light. When I'm standing in the crystal store and I want to double check something, do I remember this right? It's perfect for that. So. Anybody else have a question they want on the board, or do you want to? I have a couple more cards I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna do my Power of Surrender deck for a thought for all of us. And oh, the shows I have going this week, other than this, and by tomorrow I will have tech support in here, and I will have all my double cameras and everything in. Oh, Judy, I used to do that when I worked at my reading table. I had a whole fluorites are relatively inexpensive. They're really pretty. They're tiny. They work as a good pocket stone. I would keep a bunch of fluorites and I'd say pick one. And people would be. It's funny because when children would come by, I'd say, "Can your child take a stone?" and get the parents' permission. And then I'd say, pick a stone, and fluorites run everything from crystal clear to dark, dark purple, and they're pink, and they're blue, and they're green, and they're everything in between. And the kids, I remember this one family had 3 kids, and the one kid picked a blue stone, one picked the white stone, and one picked the purple stone. And I said, the blue stone was the talker. The clear stone is the child you go through, and they're always going to tell you exactly what they see ahead of them. And the purple stone was the one that had all the energy because the color of purple they picked has a lot of energy. And the parents said, "That's exactly right. How did you know?" And I said, "We always go to type. We always pick the stones that we're drawn to. If you open yourself up, it will you can be drawn to it." And I have a question from Jeff. Does spirit have anything to say to me? Oh, trust me, honey, it'll talk your ear off. But we're gonna put it down on the here. Yes, it says you're going through a lot of reevaluation of your life right now, and it's got something to do. Is there like a family illness that you've been concerned about? But you're moving forward. Your mind is helping pull you out of this. Either someone in your family's gotten ill recently, or some physical symptoms come through your body that makes you think, "Oh my God, I've got that." You're doing all the right moves you should make. Let's see, this is the one. I think it's going to tell me. In case you're wondering, guys, I have most of this memorized, but not all of it memorized. And I don't want to do it by memory, but I just don't want to remember something wrong. Okay, you're going in whatever, however you're solving this problem, you're going in the right direction. That's what I understand about spirit reset. But you need to kind of weed out the things the impressions you have that are wrong, and hold on to the things that you find out are very right. And this clearly comes out. You're in a way, you're kind of foggy about exactly what happened with this illness. You're not sure, and you're trying to get people in your family to talk to you, and they're not being terribly helpful. They have some fool's gold impression. They have some false impressions about what happened, but you can see what that pattern was. I think your brain's going to drag you out of this. I'm going to do the body stone to see if some of your fears that are coming up are correct. No, I don't think they're true. I think they're coming. Your body's going to take you where you need to go. When they do the test, you're going to find out you're fine. So your spirit's saying if you have any kind of health issue you've been concerned about, and especially if it's a hereditary one, go get checked and find out. Judy, it's fine. A rock's a rock. The people will get the stones they're supposed to get. The other thing that will happen is you'll lose stones when they don't need to be with you anymore. And I've lost more than my fair share of stones. Uh, okay, Tammy, the only thing I can tell you about, if you have some Amazonite, work with it because and also amethyst is a very good calming stone. Um, but we're getting a whole. I'm going to see what the situation is around you because I think I know, but what's happening is your mind's opening up and you're getting a lot more clarity. You're not trusting your instincts, but that's coming towards you, and physically things are changing around you. And but you've been clear. You've got a really weird intersection. Your crystal fell on restate, past, and south. So clarification. This comes from dealing from things in the past. You need to weed out a lot of what you've been thinking about to uh, to define exactly what it is that's bothering you. And your past is um, you've gone through this kind of a period in your life before. Whatever you got to that got you into calm, go find that spot and welcome that energy in so that you don't get feeling overwhelmed. The word overwhelmed always kind of freaks me out because I've been overwhelmed and I don't like it. Okay, Judy, we're going to see what the spirits have to say for you. Yeah, Jeff, go get a physical. You'll be so much happier if you do. Okay. Judy Buck, you're dealing with body issues from the past. You're coming to terms with a whole lot of things that happened to you in your past, and they're moving away from you. You're getting clarity about how to deal with them, and you're ditching the values you were taught that do not function well for you. Your guides are telling that. Listen to your guides. They're in air. They're into your thoughts. They can help you. And you also got the crown chakra of enlightenment for your mind, which is a great place for your mind to be because that's where our mind should be. The way you're positioning yourself, letting go of this crap that happened before, not carrying it forward, your brain's straightening it out and saying, this is Judy and this is the other folks. So you're opening yourself up to Judy and you're telling the other folks, thank you for sharing, leave now. Okay? Anybody else got a question? Because otherwise I'll be happy to go read my surrender cards. Okay. Say goodbye, grid. Yeah, it says move forward. All really 4 of the stones are in the move forward place, and it will clarify your past. That's the last reading off the board. When I'm telling you, when you read on this, if a whole bunch of stones fall in one place, because you see they scatter out, sometimes they're here, sometimes there. You read the ones that are, these 2 are close together, your spirit and your mind, and this one's close together. Your values are coming from how you embody them, and you're clearing up your past. I think for anybody I talked to about that today, and people who didn't ask questions, you're going to find out that you're letting go a lot of your past. So we're going to see what we need as we're going to ask for a group spirit card on. This is this Power of Surrender deck. It's a really, really interesting deck. It was designed by a psychiatrist, and she has wonderful messages. When I do personal readings, which, by the way, I do personal readings, and I get a lot more depth than I do here. At the end, I have this. This is an app on my phone, Power of Surrender, and I can shuffle them, and when the person says stop, that's their card. Yeah, it's hard to let go of the past, but right now is a great time because the whole universe is letting go of its past. Surrender your belief in scarcity. And this means the universe is asking you to open up to the infinite nature of abundance. And scarcity is one of those things I think parents teach us when we're little because they don't want us to be disappointed. Oh, you can't have that. People like us don't get cars like that. Blah, blah, blah. And that plants it in your mind, and then that's your thoughts going forward. You have to deprogram that. So that's the part of the past that's hard to let go of. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. And you see this guy's looking out into the future with a backpack ready to go on his own trip. So that's sort of the message of the day from the Spirit. And then we're going to pick a flower card. Just grab one out. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you read Shakespeare and he talks about certain flowers, every flower in that time had a meaning. Okay. And so, and today we got the gardenia, which is backwards. Sorry about that. Awareness. Wake up and roll the clouds away and look. And I think that's like, get rid of your past, get rid of that fog, get rid of those things that block the sunlight from you. And the language of flowers is really interesting. I did a whole paper on that in high school because I was a geek and I'd read all of Shakespeare. By that time, I was also in theater, which probably with my gift of gab amazes no one. But I did a whole paper on flowers and in Elizabethan dramas and stuff. You're out, crown chakra. I'm trying to get migraine. I don't know. My crown chakra, I've never had to try and close it. So I don't know. I'd go find a good meditation on chakra balancing. Okay. Thank you all for showing up today, despite my weird problems. And I want to thank everyone. If you'd like, share, and make sure you subscribe. And if you subscribed before, go check back and check your membership or your subscription, because as I understand, even though my numbers are growing, I had an old friend who was like third person to get on my channel. He went in and he said, why am I not getting notices that you're doing these readings? And he'd been unsubscribed and he did not do that. I know him. Okay. Thank you so much for all being here. I'm sorry about the technical problems. I will work on it. If not, I know how to get on. 2 ways now. 2. Very good. And y'all have a lovely day and open your mind up. Oh, one last thing. On Thursday, Danny Shea and I are taping a show about geobiology, which is energy patterns that come from the center of the earth and cosmic energy that comes in from outer space. And it creates ley lines, dragon lines, and a bunch of other things. And we're going to be talking about a guy named Rory Duff, who's absolutely fascinating. And so I hope you will come and join us for that. It's going to be a very different sort of reading, except I learned about Rory because of rocks, because I knew geologists had said that every 14,000 years, this strange, it's not a mutation, this strange change would show up in rocks. And they found it 14,000 years ago, then they found it 28,000 years ago, then they found it, 36,000. Anyway, they kept finding it rolling back every 14,000 years. The stones would have this funny little line, and they knew it was some sort of blast from outer space. But when this was first discovered, we were in a cloud. Our whole galaxy was in a cloud in the universe that was protecting our planet. In 2017, we kind of ooched out of that. By 2018, we were clearly out of it. And all of a sudden, neutrinos and a lot of other little microparticles that come from outer space were becoming prevalent on Earth. And guess what's marking the rocks? And we're getting giant waves of those things that are happening right now. So that's that's the other change you're feeling. And there's like not a whole lot you can do. Just enjoy the ride. It's like you're on a roller coaster and you're stuck there. Anyway, don't look upon it as stuck there. Look upon it as a joyous chance to sense something new. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.